My husband said, "My career always comes first. You're second," I replied. "Good to know." Then I moved myself to first in my own life. Separate finances, separate plans, separate future. When his family emergency came and he expected me to drop everything, I should have seen it coming. But you know how it is when you're in it. You make excuses, think it'll get better, convince yourself you're overreacting. I'm Sophia Chen, 33 years old, and I'd been married to Marcus Reed for 5 years when everything fell apart. His family had always been involved in our lives, really involved. The kind of involved where his mother had a key to our apartment and used it whenever she pleased. Where his younger sister treated our spare bedroom like her personal crash pad when things got rough with her boyfriend. Where family gatherings weren't optional, they were mandatory, and questioning any of it meant I was being difficult. At first I thought it was sweet, big family, close-knit, always there for each other. Took me about a year to realize that always there for each other actually meant always there to take from me specifically. His sister needed $2,000 for a car repair that somehow never got fixed. His brother needed help with his startup, just a small investment. He said that small investment turned into $8,000 down the drain. His parents needed a new roof, and somehow that became our responsibility even though Marcus had 2 other siblings who could have helped. Always an emergency. Always urgent. Always my problem to solve. Every time I pushed back even a little, I got the same script. But that's family. Like those 2 words explained everything. Like being related to Marcus gave them unlimited access to my bank account, my time, my peace of mind. But I'm not here to talk about that pattern. I'm here to talk about the leadership retreat that changed everything. I work in marketing for a tech company in Austin. I'd been working toward a promotion for 2 years. 2 years of staying late, taking on extra projects, proving myself over and over. Finally, my boss offered me the senior director position. But there was a catch. There was a mandatory leadership retreat in Colorado. 5 days. Non-negotiable. Miss it, and the promotion goes to someone else. I was thrilled. Terrified, but thrilled. This was everything I'd been working for. I told Marcus over dinner at our favorite Thai place downtown, made a whole thing of it, ordered his favorite dishes, waited until he was relaxed. "I got the promotion," I said, smiling so hard my face hurt. He looked up from his pad thai. "That's great, babe. Really great." "There's a retreat, though, 5 days in Denver. I leave next month." His face changed, that subtle shift I'd learned to recognize over the years. The one that meant he was about to make my problem into his problem next month? "What dates?" I told him. Watched his expression go from concerned to annoyed. "That's when my mom is having her surgery." I felt my stomach drop. "What surgery?" "The knee replacement." "I told you about this." "Marcus, you never told me about any surgery." "I definitely did. Like a month ago, I pulled out my phone, checked our text messages, scrolled through weeks of conversations. There was nothing. You didn't." I would have remembered. "Well, I'm telling you now. She needs someone there. My dad can't handle hospital stuff. Sarah's useless in a crisis, and David's out of state for work. This is Revenge Stories, a home for quiet courage and true endings. If you feel my words, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from. Help us build this community so we can bring more interesting and exciting stories for you from around the world. Your help is much appreciated. Your voice matters here. Your story matters too. I took a breath, trying to stay calm. I can't miss this retreat. It's part of the promotion. If I don't go, I don't get the position, so reschedule it. I actually laughed. I can't reschedule a mandatory corporate retreat, Marcus. That's not how this works. Then I guess you'll have to figure something out because my mom needs me there. She needs you there, not me. You can handle it. His jaw tightened. That thing he did when he was trying not to get angry. So you're just going to abandon my family when they need support? I'm not abandoning anyone. I'm going to a work retreat that's crucial for my career. Your mom has you. She has your dad. She'll be fine. He put his fork down, looked at me like I'd just suggested we rob a bank. My career has always supported this family, Sophia. Always. When you wanted to take that lower-paying job because it was better for your mental health, who covered the difference in bills? When you wanted to go back to school for your MBA, who supported that? My career made all of that possible. The air felt like it got sucked out of the room. I sat there staring at him, waiting for him to realize what he'd just said. He didn't. Say that again, I said quietly. My career comes first. It always has. That's just reality. My job provides the stability. Your job is important, but it's secondary. You knew this when you married me. I felt something crack inside my chest. Something that had been holding on for 5 years, finally breaking clean through. Good to know, I said. So you understand? You'll skip the retreat? Nope. But thanks for the clarity. He blinked at me, confused. What does that mean? It means I'm going to the retreat. You can handle your mom's surgery. I'm sure you'll manage. Sophia, be reasonable. I am being reasonable. I'm being reasonable about my career. For the first time in 5 years, I stood up from the table, left him sitting there with his mouth open, and went to our bedroom. Started pulling out my suitcase. He followed me, still talking, still explaining why I was being selfish, why I didn't understand how families worked, why my job couldn't possibly be as important as his family crisis. I just kept packing, made a list of everything I needed for the retreat, ignored every word coming out of his mouth. The next morning, I did something I should have done years ago. I opened a new bank account, transferred exactly half of our savings into it, changed my direct deposit, sat down with our bills and calculated precisely 50% of every expense. Mortgage, utilities, internet, groceries, insurance, everything. That's what I would pay, not a penny more. Marcus noticed when his card got declined at the gas station. He came home furious. What did you do to our account? I separated our finances. You'll find your half of the savings in the joint account. I moved mine to a personal account. You can't just do that. I can, and I did. I also calculated 50% of all our bills. I'll pay my half, you pay yours. His face went red. This is insane. We're married, and according to you, your career comes first, and mine is secondary. So I'm treating our finances accordingly. You handle your priorities, I'll handle mine. You're punishing me. No, I'm matching your energy. You made it clear where I stand. I'm just adjusting my expectations. He tried the guilt trip. How could I be so cold? Didn't I love him? What about our partnership? What about building a life together? Partnership? I actually laughed. You literally told me my career is secondary, that yours comes first. There's no partnership here. There's you, your career, your family, and somewhere way down the list, there's me and what I want. So now I'm putting myself first. That's fair, right? You're being dramatic. And you're being dismissive. Same as always. He left for his mom's house. Didn't come back for 3 days. I thought maybe he'd cool down, realize he'd been taking me for granted, come back ready to actually talk. Instead, he came back with his mother. She let herself in with her key. I was working from home on a video call with my team when I heard voices in the living room. Ended the call early and went out to find Marcus and Patricia Reed sitting on my couch like they were about to stage an intervention. We need to talk about your attitude, Patricia said before I could even say hello. Excuse me? Marcus told me you're refusing to help during my surgery, that you're putting a work trip above family. I looked at Marcus. He wouldn't meet my eyes. It's not a work trip. It's a mandatory leadership retreat for a promotion I've earned. Jobs come and go, Patricia said, waving her hand dismissively. Family is forever, then family can support family. I have a career opportunity I'm not missing. She looked at me like I'd just announced I was joining a cult. What kind of wife refuses to support her husband during a family crisis? The kind who's been treated like a secondary priority for 5 years. The kind who's tired of being expected to sacrifice everything while getting nothing in return. Patricia's face went purple. How dare you? We welcomed you into this family, treated you like a daughter. You treated me like a convenient resource. There's a difference, Marcus finally spoke up. Mom, maybe we should go. No, Patricia snapped. She needs to hear this. You're being selfish, Sophia. Cruel. Marriage means sacrifice. It means putting family first. I agree, I said. which is why Marcus can sacrifice his time to be with his family. I'll be putting my career first for once." Patricia stood up, grabbed her purse, looked at me with pure disgust. "You're going to regret this. When you need this family, don't come crying to us." "I won't," I promised. They left. Marcus didn't say goodbye, didn't look back, just followed his mother out like a scolded child. I changed the locks that afternoon. Had a locksmith come out and replace everything. When Marcus tried to come back that evening, his key didn't work. He called me from outside. "My key doesn't work." "I know. I changed the locks." "You changed the locks? On our home? My name is on the lease. My money pays half the rent. I changed the locks to my home. You can come get your things tomorrow when I'm here to supervise. You can't just kick me out. Watch me." I hung up, blocked his number, blocked his mother's number, blocked his sister's number. I was done. The leadership retreat was incredible. 5 days in the mountains with other senior leaders, learning strategy, building connections, proving I belonged in that room. I came back energized, confident, ready to step into my new role. I also came back to chaos. Marcus had apparently been calling everyone we knew, my parents, my friends, my coworkers, telling them I'd abandoned him during a family crisis, that I was having some kind of breakdown, that I'd changed the locks and kicked him out without warning. My mother called me the day I got back. She sounded worried. "Honey," Marcus called. "He's very upset. He said you left him during his mother's surgery." "He's exaggerating. His mother had a routine knee replacement. He had 2 other siblings and his father there to support him. I went to a mandatory work retreat. He made it sound much more serious." "I'm sure he did, Mom. I need you to hear this from me. Marcus has spent 5 years treating my career like a hobby, while his family has drained our finances and treated me like an ATM. I'm done. I'm filing for divorce." Silence on the other end. Then, "Oh, honey." I thought she'd be disappointed. Try to talk me out of it. Instead, she said, "It's about time." "What? Your father and I have been waiting for you to wake up. That family has been using you since the wedding. Why didn't you say something? Would you have listened?" She had a point. Most of my friends were supportive once they heard the real story. A few took Marcus's side, said I was being too harsh, that marriage required compromise. I cut them loose too. If they couldn't see how I'd been compromising for years while getting nothing back, they weren't my friends. The divorce filing was straightforward. We'd only been married 5 years, no kids, all assets split 50-50. I wanted it clean and done. Marcus wanted to make it complicated. His lawyer sent over demands that made my lawyer actually gasp. He wanted the apartment even though my name was on the lease. Wanted me to pay his legal fees because I'd caused the divorce by being unsupportive. Wanted compensation for emotional distress to the tune of $15,000. "He can't be serious," my lawyer, Jennifer, said. "He's serious. They're banking on me being too tired to fight." "Are you too tired to fight?" "No, I'm just getting started." We countered with documentation, every family emergency I'd funded, every sacrifice I'd made, every time I'd rearranged my schedule for his family while he refused to budge on mine. The total came to $37,000 over 5 years. Not a penny repaid. We also submitted text messages, years of them. Him canceling plans for family obligations. Me asking if we could skip just one Sunday dinner, and him telling me I was being difficult. The conversation where he explicitly said my career was secondary to his lawyer tried to spin it. Claimed Marcus had been the primary breadwinner, which was true by about $15,000 a year, and that entitled him to make financial decisions for the household. Jennifer destroyed that argument with pay stubs, showing I'd been contributing more than my fair share when you factored in all the family bailouts. The mediation was brutal. Marcus showed up with his mother again. Patricia sat there glaring at me like I'd personally ruined her life. The mediator went through the assets apartment lease in my name. Stays with me. Bank account split 50-50. Furniture divided by who purchased what. My car, his car, simple. Then Marcus's lawyer brought up alimony. My client has become accustomed to a certain lifestyle supported by the combined income. Mrs. Reed's sudden withdrawal of financial support has caused significant hardship, Mrs. Chen. Jennifer corrected. She never took his name. And Mr. Reed is fully employed with a solid income. He doesn't need alimony, he needs to budget better. The mediator looked tired. Unless there's evidence of one party being unable to support themselves, I'm not inclined to award alimony. In this case, you're both working professionals in your 30s. You'll both be fine. Marcus tried to argue directly with me then. Sophia, please, can we just talk about this like adults? We did talk. You told me I was secondary. I believed you. Now we're here. I didn't mean it like that. Yes, you did. And honestly, it's fine, but you don't get to have it both ways. Your career comes first. Great. Fund your own life with it. Patricia couldn't help herself. Started crying loudly, talking about how she raised her son better than this, how I'd corrupted him, how their family had welcomed me with open arms. The mediator looked up sharply. Ma'am, you're not a party to this divorce. Another outburst, and I'll have to ask you to leave. That shut her up for about 10 minutes. We settled that day. Apartment stays with me since the lease is in my name. Bank accounts split down the middle. No alimony. No compensation for emotional distress. We each pay our own legal fees. Clean break. Marcus looked destroyed when he signed the papers. Part of me felt bad. Most of me felt free. Patricia cornered me in the parking garage after. Waited until Marcus and the lawyers were gone. I hope you're happy. You destroyed my son. I looked at her, really looked at her, saw the manipulation, the entitlement, the absolute conviction that her family's needs trumped everyone else's. Patricia, your son destroyed himself by never learning that other people matter. You destroyed him by teaching him that. I just stopped participating. We welcomed you into our family. You used me. There's a difference. Good luck with your recovery. I walked away while she sputtered behind me. Got in my car, drove home to my apartment, my space, mine. The divorce was final, 30 days later. Quickest I'd ever seen one process, Jennifer said. Helped that we had everything documented and neither party tried to hide assets. I thought that would be the end of it. I was wrong. The harassment started about a week after the divorce finalized. Someone keyed my car, deep, deliberate scratches all down the driver's side. I was 90% sure it was Marcus's sister Sarah, but I couldn't prove it. Filed a police report anyway. $900 in damage. Then my work email got flooded. Someone had signed me up for every spam list imaginable. Hundreds of emails a day. It had to get involved to filter it all out. They traced it back to an IP address registered to a coffee shop near Marcus's new apartment. Still couldn't prove it was him. The really nasty trick came through my boss. Someone filed an anonymous complaint with our ethics hotline, claimed I'd been using company resources for personal business, said I'd been making threatening comments about family members, said my recent divorce had made me unstable. My boss, Catherine, called me into her office. She looked uncomfortable. Sophia, I need to ask you about something. We received a complaint through the ethics line. My stomach dropped. About what? About you. Anonymous complaint claiming you've been behaving erratically, making concerning statements, potentially violating company policy. I felt my face get hot. That's completely fabricated. This is harassment from my ex-husband's family. Can you prove that? No, but I can prove everything in that complaint is false. Check my computer logs, check my phone records, check with my team. I've been nothing but professional. She sighed. I believe you, but I have to investigate any complaint that comes through official channels. It's policy. I understand. Do what you need to do. The investigation took 2 weeks. 2 weeks of wondering if I was going to lose the promotion I'd just earned. 2 weeks of suspicious looks from colleagues who'd heard something was going on. 2 weeks of my ex-husband's family trying to destroy the one thing I'd chosen over them. The investigation cleared me completely. No evidence of any wrongdoing. Catherine called me back in. You're cleared, completely. For what it's worth, I think you were right about the harassment angle. The timing is too convenient. Can you tell me what the complaint actually said? She hesitated, then pulled up the report. Read it to me. The details were too specific. Things only Marcus would know. Stories twisted just enough to sound bad, but rooted in real conversations we'd had. "This is him," I said. "Or his family. This is retaliation, probably, but it's anonymous, and we can't prove it came from them. Best I can do is document this as a retaliatory complaint and make sure it doesn't affect your record. What if they do it again? Then we'll deal with it again." "But Sophia, you might want to consider a restraining order." I thought about it. Talked to Jennifer. She drafted a cease and desist letter, sent it to Marcus, his mother, and his sister. Official legal letterhead. Stop contacting Sophia Chen. Stop interfering with her employment. Stop harassing her. Further violations will result in legal action, including restraining orders and civil suits. It worked for about a month. Then his brother showed up at my gym, David Reed. I barely knew him. He'd always been the one sibling who stayed out of drama, lived in Seattle. Visited maybe twice a year. I was on the treadmill when I saw him walk in, look around, spot me. He waited until I finished my run. Approached while I was getting water. "Sophia, can we talk?" "I don't think that's a good idea, David. 5 minutes. Please." Against my better judgment, I agreed. We sat in the lobby. He looked uncomfortable. "Look, I know my family has been giving you hell. I wanted to apologize for that." "You wanted to apologize? And explain." "Mom's surgery didn't go well. She had complications. Blood clot. She was in ICU for 3 days. I felt my stomach drop. I didn't know that. Marcus didn't tell you? He told me it was a routine knee replacement. It was supposed to be. But things went wrong. She almost died. Sophia and Marcus was there alone because Sarah was useless. And I couldn't get a flight out in time. Dad fell apart. It was bad." I sat there processing, feeling guilt creep in. Then feeling angry at the guilt. "I'm sorry that happened," I said carefully. "But Marcus told me it was routine. He didn't tell me there were complications. Even if he had, I couldn't have missed that retreat." "I know, and I'm not saying you should have. I'm just trying to help you understand why everyone's so angry, David. Your family drained me for 5 years. Financially and emotionally. Marcus told me my career was secondary to his. He made it clear I was second priority. I finally put myself first. And now your family is trying to destroy my life. Understanding doesn't make that okay." He nodded slowly. "You're right. Look, I can't control what Mom or Sarah or Marcus do, but I wanted you to know that not everyone in the family thinks you're the villain here. I appreciate that. But I need you to leave me alone too, all of you. I've moved on. You should too." "Fair enough." He left. I sat there for a long time, wondering if I should feel worse about Patricia's complications. Decided I didn't. Marcus had lied about the situation. If he'd been honest, if he'd asked for help instead of demanding sacrifice, maybe things would have been different. Probably not, though. Life started settling into a new normal. Work was going well. The promotion came with a significant raise. I was managing a team of 12, leading strategy for major clients, finally using all that MBA education I'd paid for. I started dating again, nothing serious at first. Coffee dates, dinners, getting used to being single after 5 years. Then I met Elena Rodriguez at a marketing conference in Denver. She was presenting on social media strategy for nonprofits. Brilliant, funny, had her own consulting business. We grabbed drinks after her panel. She asked me what I did. I told her about my job, my team, the promotion I'd just earned. "That's amazing," she said. "You must be proud." "I am. It took a lot to get here." I didn't tell her about the divorce on the first date. Or the second. By the third date, it felt dishonest. Not to mention it, I should probably tell you, I said over dinner at a Vietnamese place she'd recommended. "I'm recently divorced, like finalized 2 months ago." She nodded. "How recently were you married?" 5 years. It ended badly. Most divorces do. Want to talk about it? I gave her the short version. His family, the constant demands, the retreat, the divorce, the harassment. She listened without interrupting. "Sounds like you made the right call," she said when I finished. "You think so?" "Sophia, You chose your career over funding someone else's family drama. That's not selfish. That's self-preservation. I felt something loosen in my chest, something I didn't realize I'd been holding on to. We dated for 6 months before I had to deal with Marcus again. Elena and I were at a restaurant in downtown Austin when I saw him across the room. He was with a woman I didn't recognize. Younger, blonde, laughing at something he'd said. I felt Elena tense next to me. Is that him? Yeah, do you want to leave? No, let's just have our dinner. But Marcus noticed me. Of course he did. He stared for a long moment, then said something to his date and walked over to our table. Sophia Marcus. He looked at Elena. Then back at me. You're seeing someone. I am. Elena, this is Marcus. Marcus, Elena. Elena smiled politely but didn't offer her hand. I've heard about you. His jaw tightened. I'm sure you have. I'm sure Sophia painted me as the villain. Marcus, we're having dinner. Was there something you needed? I just wanted to say you look good. Happy. I am happy. That's great, really great. I hope you know I never meant for things to end the way they did. You told me my career was secondary to yours. You expected me to sacrifice my promotion for your mother's surgery. Things ended exactly the way they had to. He stood there for a moment, looking like he wanted to say more. Then he just nodded and walked back to his table. Elena squeezed my hand. You okay? Yeah. Actually, yeah, I'm good. And I was. For the first time in years, I was genuinely good. That would have been the end of the story. Ex-husband moved on, I moved on. Everyone lived their separate lives. But life isn't that neat. 6 months later, I got a call from David again. Different tone this time. Urgent. Sophia, I know you said to leave you alone, but this is important. Marcus is in trouble. What kind of trouble? He lost his job. Got laid off 3 months ago. He's been hiding it from everyone, living off credit cards. Now he's about to lose his condo. That's terrible, but why are you telling me? Because he's asking for help from the family. And Mom wants to take out a second mortgage to bail him out. David, I'm sorry, but that's not my problem anymore, I know. But Mom's house is already underwater from the first mortgage. If she takes out another one, she'll lose everything. I've been trying to talk sense into her, but she won't listen. She says family helps family. I felt anger rise in my chest. So let me get this straight. Marcus spent years telling me his career came first. Made me feel secondary. We got divorced partly because of that. Now his career imploded, and your mom wants to destroy her financial future to save him? Pretty much. And you want me to do what exactly? Talk to her. She might listen to you. I laughed. Actually, laughed out loud. David, your mother hates me. She thinks I destroyed Marcus. She's part of the reason I had to send cease and desist letters. Why would she listen to me? Because you're the only one who ever said no to her. And maybe, just maybe, she's starting to realize you were right. I'll think about it. I didn't think about it. I tried to forget the conversation and focus on my life. Elena and I had just moved in together, a beautiful 2-bedroom condo with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. We were happy, building something healthy and equal. But David called again a week later. She took out the loan, $50,000. Marcus burned through the first $20,000 in a month, rent, car payments, credit cards. He's asking for more. Jesus. Sophia, she's going to lose her house. My dad doesn't know how to stop her. Sarah's encouraging it because she thinks Marcus will help her once he's back on his feet. It's a disaster. I'm sorry, David, I really am, but I can't save people who won't save themselves. I know, I just thought you should know. We hung up. I told Elena about it that night. Part of me feels guilty, I admitted. Like maybe if I'd just sucked it up and stayed married, none of this would have happened. Elena looked at me like I'd grown a second head. Sophia, listen to yourself. His mother taking out a predatory loan to enable his financial irresponsibility is not your fault. Him losing his job isn't your fault. Their family's complete inability to set boundaries isn't your fault. I know that intellectually. But emotionally, you're taking responsibility for grown adults making terrible choices. She was right. Of course she was right. 2 months later, David called one last time. Patricia had defaulted on the second mortgage. The bank was foreclosing. She and Marcus's father had 60 days to vacate. "They're asking Marcus to let them move in with him," David said. "But he can't even pay his own rent. It's a mess." "Where will they go?" "Sarah's place, probably. Her divorce just finalized. She's got a 2-bedroom apartment. It'll be tight." I felt bad for about 30 seconds. Then I remembered Patricia cornering me in that parking garage, telling me I'd destroyed her son, threatening me, harassing my workplace. "I hope they figure it out," I said. "But David, please don't call me about this anymore. I've moved on." "You should too." "You're right. I'm sorry. For what it's worth, I think you made the right call. All of it. Thanks." That was 8 months ago. I haven't heard from any of them since. This is Revenge Stories, a home for quiet courage and true endings. If you feel my words, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from. Help us build this community so we can bring more interesting and exciting stories for you, from around the world. Your help is much appreciated. Your voice matters here. Your story matters too. My life now is completely different from what it was during my marriage. Elena and I are talking about getting engaged. She's met my parents, my friends, my team at work. Everyone loves her. More importantly, she treats me like an equal partner. We split everything 50-50. We make decisions together. When her mother needed help after a fall last year, we both took time off work to drive to San Antonio and get her set up with home health services. That's what partnership looks like. Work continues to go well. I got promoted again last year. VP of Marketing Strategy. Corner office. Team of 25. Salary that would have seemed impossible 5 years ago. I'm good at what I do. And I'm finally in a position where people recognize that. I joined a divorce recovery group about a year ago. Not because I'm struggling, but because I wanted to give back. Help other people who are going through what I went through. Learning to set boundaries. Learning to put themselves first. Learning that leaving isn't giving up. It's sometimes the bravest thing you can do. There's a woman in the group, Amanda, who reminds me of myself 5 years ago. Her husband's family drains their finances. She works full-time but somehow never has money because there's always an emergency. Always someone who needs help. She came to group last week and announced she'd opened her own bank account, separated her finances. The whole group applauded. After the meeting, she pulled me aside. "How did you stop feeling guilty?" I thought about it. Honestly, I didn't stop feeling guilty right away, but I started asking myself whose life I was living, mine or theirs. Once I realized I was living for everyone except myself, the guilt started to fade. What if I lose him? Then you lose someone who was never really yours to begin with? Someone who saw you as a resource, not a partner. She nodded, eyes watering. "Thank you. That's what this is all about. Not the money I kept instead of giving to Marcus's family. Not the promotion I chose over his mother's surgery. Not the revenge of watching his life fall apart after we divorced. It's about that moment when you realize you're allowed to choose yourself. You're allowed to say no. You're allowed to walk away from people who treat you like you're secondary." I ran into Marcus one more time. Last month I was at Whole Foods, shopping for a dinner party Elena and I were hosting. I turned the corner into the produce section, and there he was, looking at avocados like they held the secrets of the universe. He looked different, thinner, older, tired in a way that went deeper than just needing sleep. "Sophia," he said when he saw me. "Marcus, how are you?" "I'm okay, getting by." He gestured vaguely at his cart. "Basic groceries." "Nothing fancy, you?" "I'm good. Really good, actually." He nodded, looked at my cart. "Planning something nice?" "Dinner party. My girlfriend and I are hosting some friends. That's great. I'm glad you're happy." There was an awkward pause, the kind where you're both aware of everything that went unsaid. Everything that couldn't be unsaid. "Listen," he finally said. "I owe you an apology. For everything. The way I treated you, the way my family treated you, all of it. You were right about all of it. I appreciate that. I lost my job, you know. About a year ago. And when I needed help, when I needed my family to be there for me the way they always demanded I be there for them, they couldn't do it. Not really. Mom took out a loan she couldn't afford. Lost her house over it. Dad blames me. Sarah blames you somehow. David won't take my calls anymore, and I'm living in a studio apartment working a job I'm overqualified for because I can't get a good reference from my last company. I'm sorry you're going through that, I said. And I meant it. Not in a vindictive way, just in a human way. The thing is, he continued, I get it now. What you were trying to tell me, about boundaries, about partnership, about not setting yourself on fire to keep other people warm. I didn't understand it then. I thought you were being selfish. But you weren't. You were being sane. And I was too blind to see it. We all do the best we can with what we know at the time, I said. Do we, though? Or do we just do what's easiest, what requires the least amount of change? He had a point. For what it's worth, he said, I'm glad you got out. I'm glad you found someone who treats you better. You deserved better than what I gave you. Thank you, Marcus. That means something. He nodded, grabbed a bag of avocados without really looking at them, and pushed his cart past me. I watched him walk away, this man I'd spent 5 years of my life with, and felt nothing but a mild sadness for how things turned out. Not for me. For him. Elena was waiting in the car. I loaded the groceries, got in, sat there for a moment. You okay? She asked. Yeah. Just ran into Marcus. How was that? Sad, mostly. He apologized. Said I was right about everything. How'd that feel? Hollow, honestly. Being right doesn't feel as good as I thought it would. She squeezed my hand. That's because you're not doing this for revenge. You're just living your life. And she was right. This whole story, everything that happened, it wasn't about revenge. It wasn't about proving a point or watching Marcus suffer or feeling vindicated. It was about the simple, revolutionary act of choosing myself. Choosing my career over someone else's family emergency. Choosing my financial security over enabling dysfunction. Choosing my peace over maintaining a relationship that diminished me. Choosing my future over someone else's past. They called it abandonment. They called it selfish. They called it cruel. But here's what it actually was. Self-respect. And honestly, that's the best revenge there is. Not hurting the people who hurt you, just refusing to be hurt anymore. Just building a life so full and so good that their opinion of you becomes irrelevant. Marcus's family destroyed themselves. Patricia took out loans she couldn't afford. Marcus lived beyond his means and burned through his savings. Sarah enabled it all and ended up divorced herself. David was the only one who saw it coming, and even he couldn't stop it. I didn't destroy them, I just stopped participating in their destruction. Stopped funding it. Stopped enabling it. Stopped pretending their emergencies were my responsibility. The leadership retreat I chose over Marcus's mother's surgery, it changed my career trajectory completely. The connections I made there led to opportunities I couldn't have imagined. The promotion I earned gave me financial independence I'd never had. The confidence I built carried into every other area of my life. If I'd stayed, if I'd sacrificed that opportunity, where would I be now? Still married to Marcus, probably. Still funding his family's disasters. Still working a lower-level position because I could never quite commit to my career advancement. Still putting myself last while everyone else came first. Instead, I'm the VP of marketing strategy for a major tech company. I'm in a healthy, equal partnership with someone who values me. I own a beautiful condo in downtown Austin. I have savings, investments, a retirement fund that's actually growing. I have friends who respect my boundaries. I have a life that's mine. And Marcus has a studio apartment and a job he's overqualified for, and a family that blamed him when he couldn't save them all. The difference between us isn't luck, it's choices. I chose myself. He chose everyone else. And we both got exactly what we chose. My therapist asked me a few months ago if I ever regretted leaving. No, I said, never. Not even once, not even when you heard about his mother's complications, about him losing his job, especially not then. Those weren't consequences of me leaving. Those were just life happening. His mother's complications weren't my fault. His job loss wasn't my fault. Their financial disaster wasn't my fault. None of it was my fault. Sounds like you've processed this well. Maybe I have. Or maybe I'm just finally understanding that I'm not responsible for other people's choices, only my own. And my choices led me here, to this life, this happiness, this peace. The revenge wasn't elaborate, wasn't some master plan. It was just stopping the sacrifices, stopping the enabling, stopping the pattern of putting everyone else first while I came last. They called it heartless. They called it cruel. They called it abandonment. I call it self-preservation. I call it growth. I call it the best decision I ever made. 3 years after the divorce became final, I was living a life I couldn't have imagined during my marriage. Elena and I got engaged on a trip to Vancouver. She proposed on a hiking trail overlooking the city, with a ring she'd designed herself based on conversations we'd had about what I liked, not what was trendy or expensive, but what actually meant something to me. That's the difference between a real partnership and what I had with Marcus. Elena listened. We planned a small wedding, 50 people, my family, her family, close friends, no drama. No mandatory guest list from demanding in-laws, no expectations I couldn't meet, just people who genuinely cared about us celebrating something real. The wedding was in April at a botanical garden in Austin. Simple, elegant, perfect. My dad walked me down the aisle. My mom cried happy tears. Elena's mother welcomed me into their family with genuine warmth. Not because I was useful, but because I made her daughter happy. That's what family is supposed to feel like. We honeymooned in Portugal, 2 weeks of exploring Lisbon, Porto, the Douro Valley. We ate amazing food, drank incredible wine, wandered through historic streets without a care in the world, no emergency calls. No one demanding our time or money. Just us. When we got back, there was a message on my work voicemail. From Sarah Reed. I almost deleted it without listening, but something made me press play. Sophia, it's Sarah. I know we haven't talked in years, and I know you probably hate me, but I need to tell you something. Marcus is getting remarried, and I think he's about to make the same mistakes all over again. I thought you should know. I thought someone should warn her. Call me if you want to talk. I sat there staring at my phone for a long time. Then I deleted the message and went home to my wife. Elena was in the kitchen making dinner. Something with salmon and asparagus that smelled amazing. I came up behind her, wrapped my arms around her waist, kissed her neck. "Welcome home, Mrs. Rodriguez-Chen," she said, smiling. We'd hyphenated. Both of us. Equal partnership, equal names. "Sarah called," I said. Elena tensed slightly. "Marcus's sister?" "Yeah. Apparently he's getting remarried. How do you feel about that?" I thought about it. Honestly, I hope she's smarter than I was. I hope she sets boundaries early. I hope she doesn't waste 5 years learning lessons I could teach her in 5 minutes. Are you going to reach out? Warn her? No. She'll figure it out on her own. Or she won't. Either way, it's not my story anymore. And I meant it. Whatever Marcus did with his life, whoever he married, whatever patterns he repeated, it wasn't my concern. I'd spent enough time in that dysfunction. I wasn't going back, not even to save someone else from it. But Sarah called again 2 days later, then again a week after that. Finally, I answered. "What do you want, Sarah?" She sounded surprised that I'd picked up. "I want to talk to you about Marcus, about everything. There's nothing to talk about." "Please, Sophia, just give me an hour, I'll come to you. Coffee or lunch or whatever works. I owe you an apology, and you deserve to hear it." Against every instinct screaming at me to hang up, I agreed. Told her to meet me at a coffee shop near my office the next day, neutral territory. Public place. 1 hour, then I was done. She showed up looking different than I remembered. Older, obviously. It had been 3 years, but also worn down in a way that went beyond aging. Like life had been beating her up and she'd finally stopped fighting back. "Thank you for meeting me," she said, sitting down across from me with a latte she'd barely touched. "You have 1 hour. Start talking." She took a breath. "I've been in therapy for about a year now. working through a lot of stuff from my childhood, my marriage, my family dynamics. And one of the things I've realized is how horribly we treated you. How horribly I treated you. Okay, I enabled everything. I encouraged Mom's behavior. I was the one who told Marcus you were being selfish when you set boundaries. I helped them harass you. I filed that complaint with your company's ethics line. My blood went cold. That was you? That was me. I'm so sorry, Sophia. I was angry and hurt, and I thought you were destroying our family, but you weren't. We were already destroyed. We just didn't know it yet. Why are you telling me this now? Because you deserve the truth, and because I don't want to be that person anymore. I've cut contact with most of my family. I see my dad occasionally, but Mom is still toxic, and Marcus is still in denial about everything. I'm trying to build a different life, a healthier one, and part of that is making amends for the damage I caused. I sat there processing. Part of me wanted to throw my coffee in her face. Part of me wanted to walk out, but mostly I just felt tired. Tired of carrying anger I didn't need anymore. I appreciate the apology, I said finally. I do. But Sarah, I can't absolve you. That's work you have to do yourself. What you did caused real damage to my career, my reputation, my mental health. An apology doesn't undo that, I know. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm just asking you to know that I see it now. I see what we did. And I'm sorry. Why did you call about Marcus getting remarried? Because she's 26, fresh out of grad school. She's got a good job, her own money, her whole life ahead of her. And I've watched him start the same patterns. His career comes first. His family needs to be involved. She needs to be understanding. It's like watching a rerun of your marriage, and I can't stand it. So warn her yourself. I tried. She thinks I'm jealous, that I'm trying to sabotage Marcus because our family fell apart. She won't listen to me. She won't listen to me either, Sarah. She doesn't know me. And even if I told her everything, she'd have to learn it herself. Just like I did. She nodded slowly. You're right. I just feel like someone should save her from what we put you through. No one could have saved me. I had to save myself. She'll have to do the same. We sat in silence for a moment. Then Sarah said quietly, For what it's worth, I'm glad you got out. I'm glad you're happy. Marcus told me you got married again. I did. To someone who actually knows what partnership means, that's good. Really good. She left after that. I watched her walk away, this woman who'd made my life hell for years, who'd tried to destroy my career, who'd enabled the worst behaviors in her family. And I felt something unexpected. Pity. Not the condescending kind. The genuine kind. She was trapped in the same dysfunction I'd escaped, still trying to fix her family, still taking responsibility for everyone else's choices, still sacrificing herself on an altar of family loyalty that would never be satisfied. I went home that night and told Elena about the conversation. Do you think she's really changed? Elena asked. I don't know. Maybe, but it doesn't matter. Her growth isn't my responsibility. Her amends aren't my burden. She apologized. I heard her. Now I'm moving on, again. You're very good at that. At what? Moving on, not getting stuck in the past. It's one of the things I love about you. I've had practice. Work continued to be incredible. Our team landed a major client, a Fortune 500 company looking to completely overhaul their digital presence. It was the kind of project that could define a career. My boss put me in charge of the pitch. I spent 3 weeks preparing. Research, strategy, mock-ups, projections. My team worked around the clock. Elena brought me dinner at the office more nights than I can count. Never complained, never made me feel guilty for the long hours. Just supported me because she understood that my career mattered, that my ambitions were valid, that my success was something to celebrate, not something to resent. We won the pitch, unanimous decision from the client. My boss called me into her office the day after. That was masterful, Catherine said. Absolutely masterful. How would you feel about taking on a new title? Chief Marketing Officer? I blinked. CMO? That's a C-suite position. You've earned it. The board agrees. It comes with a significant raise, equity, a seat at the executive table. What do you say? Yes. Absolutely yes. She smiled. Good, because you've been doing the job already. We're just making it official. I called Elena from the parking lot. Barely got the words out before I started crying. Happy tears, overwhelmed tears. Years of work finally recognized. She screamed so loud I had to hold the phone away from my ear. I'm so proud of you. We're celebrating tonight. I'm making reservations somewhere fancy. We went to the best restaurant in Austin. The kind of place I never would have gone with Marcus because there was always some family emergency that needed the money more. Elena ordered champagne. We toasted to success, to partnership, to building lives we could be proud of. My phone buzzed during dessert. A text from a number I didn't recognize. Congratulations on the promotion. I heard through the grapevine. You deserve it. I'm sorry I never told you that when we were married. Marcus, I showed Elena. She raised an eyebrow. Are you going to respond? No, he's right. I do deserve it. But I don't need his validation anymore. I blocked the number and went back to my crème brûlée. The thing about leaving dysfunction behind is that you don't just lose the bad parts. You lose the whole story. The narrative where you're the victim and they're the villains. The drama that makes life feel significant even when it's destroying you. The chaos that tricks you into thinking you're needed. What you gain is so much better, but it's quieter. It's peace. It's stability. It's knowing that when you come home, no one's going to be there demanding something from you. It's having money in your bank account because you're not funding other people's disasters. It's sleeping through the night because you're not worried about what crisis will come next. It's boring in the best possible way. Elena and I fell into comfortable rhythms Sunday mornings at the farmer's market. Wednesday date nights, Friday dinners with friends. We traveled when we wanted to. We saved for the future. We talked about maybe having kids someday, maybe not, and neither option felt like a betrayal of the other's expectations. We were equals, actually equals. Not the kind of equals where one person claims to value partnership while treating the other like support staff. Real equals who made decisions together, who respected each other's careers, who split responsibilities based on capacity and interest, rather than gender roles or whose family demanded what I didn't know. Marriage could feel like this. Easy, natural, safe. 2 years into my CMO role, the company went public. My equity became worth real money. The kind of money that meant Elena and I could buy a house. A real house with a yard and multiple bathrooms and space for everything we wanted to build together. We found a place in South Austin. 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, a backyard with mature oak trees. It needed work, but it was perfect. We made an offer. It was accepted. I was signing the closing documents when my phone rang. David Reed. I hadn't heard from him in almost 4 years. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Sophia, I'm sorry to call. I know you said not to, but I thought you should know. Marcus is getting divorced again. And it's bad. I closed my eyes. How bad? His wife left him, cleaned out their joint account, filed a restraining order. She's claiming financial abuse. Jesus. Yeah. And here's the thing. She reached out to me, asked if I knew you, said she found your name in some old texts on Marcus's phone. She wants to talk to you. David, I can't get involved in this, I know. But I gave her your email. She's going to reach out. I thought you should have a heads up. I appreciate that. How are you doing? Good, actually. I moved to Portland. Got married myself last year. Finally put some distance between me and all that family drama. It's been good for me. I'm glad, really. You too, Sophia. I'm glad you're doing well. You earned it. We hung up. Elena looked at me from across the table where we were signing our mortgage documents. Everything okay? Marcus is getting divorced again. Apparently it's messy. Are you going to talk to his ex-wife? I don't know. Maybe. If she reaches out, I'll decide then. The email came 3 days later. Dear Sophia, you don't know me, but I know who you are. My name is Jennifer Walsh. I was married to Marcus Reed for 2 years. I'm currently in the process of divorcing him. And I wanted to reach out because I think you might be the only person who understands what I've been through. I found your name in old text messages on Marcus's phone. Messages where his family blamed you for not helping during a crisis. Where they called you selfish and heartless. I didn't think much of it at first. Marcus told me you were bitter about the divorce, that you'd turned his family against him because he chose them over you. But the longer I was married to him, the more I started to question that narrative. The way his mother had a key to our apartment and used it. The way his sister treated our guest room like her personal storage space. The way every holiday, every weekend, every bit of free time belonged to his family, not to us. The breaking point came when I got offered a job opportunity in Seattle. Amazing position, significant raise, everything I'd been working toward. Marcus said we couldn't move because his mother was getting older and needed him nearby. Said my career was important, but family came first. When I pushed back, he told me that if I really loved him, I'd understand that his career and his family were his priorities, that I knew what I was signing up for when I married him. I didn't understand then, but I think you do. I left him 3 months ago, took my share of our savings, and filed for divorce. His family has been harassing me ever since. His mother calls me selfish. His sister posted about me on social media, calling me a gold digger. Marcus himself has been sending me messages ranging from apologetic to threatening. I filed a restraining order last week after he showed up at my workplace. I'm scared, I'm exhausted, and I feel completely alone. I'm not asking for anything. I just wanted you to know that you were right, about all of it. And I'm sorry you went through what you did, and I wish someone had warned me. If you're willing to talk, I'd appreciate it. If not, I understand. Thank you for reading this. Jennifer. I read the email 3 times, showed it to Elena. What do you want to do? She asked. I want to help her. But I don't want to get pulled back into that world. You can do both. Give her advice without getting involved in the drama, I responded that evening. Jennifer, thank you for reaching out. I'm sorry you're going through this. I know how hard it is to leave someone you thought you'd spend your life with, especially when their family makes you question your own judgment. Here's what I learned from my experience with Marcus and his family. Document everything. Every text, every call, every incident. You'll need it for the divorce proceedings and potentially for future restraining orders. Don't engage with the family. They'll try to guilt you, threaten you, wear you down, block them everywhere. Let your lawyer handle all communication, protect your finances. If you haven't already, open new accounts that Marcus has no access to. Monitor your credit. Change all your passwords. Find a good therapist. This process is traumatic, and you'll need support from someone who isn't invested in the outcome. Remember that you didn't cause this. His patterns, his family's dysfunction, none of it is your fault. You just stopped participating in it. The hardest part isn't leaving. It's staying gone when they try to pull you back in. Stay strong. Trust yourself. You made the right decision. If you want to talk more, I'm happy to get coffee. But I need to be clear that I can't get involved in your divorce proceedings or any ongoing conflict with Marcus's family. I've built a good life since leaving, and I need to protect that. Take care of yourself. Sophia, she responded within an hour. Thank you. Just knowing someone understands means more than you know. I'd love to get coffee if you're willing. I promise I'm not looking to drag you into my mess. I just need to know I'm not crazy. We met the following week at the same coffee shop where I'd met with Sarah years before. Jennifer was younger than I expected, 28, maybe 29. Pretty in an understated way. She looked exhausted. Thank you for meeting me, she said, sitting down with a coffee she'd already bought. Of course. How are you holding up? I'm okay. Some days better than others. The restraining order helped. He's not supposed to contact me at all now. His lawyer is fighting it, but mine is confident it'll stick. Good. How's the divorce progressing? Slowly. He's contesting everything. Wants me to pay his legal fees because I initiated the divorce. Wants half of my retirement even though we were only married 2 years and I had most of it before we met. His lawyer is claiming I owe him compensation for career opportunities he missed because we were married. That sounds familiar. He tried similar tactics with me. How did you handle it? I had documentation. Proof that I'd been covering more than my share of expenses. Proof that his family had drained our finances. Text messages where he explicitly said his career came first. The judge saw through his claims pretty quickly. I have some of that, but not as much as I wish I did. I didn't think to save things until it was too late. Save everything from here on out. Every text, every email, every interaction. It'll help. We talked for 2 hours. I told her about the harassment I'd faced, the anonymous complaints to my workplace, the ways Marcus's family had tried to destroy my reputation. I told her how I'd protected myself, how I'd built boundaries, how I'd eventually moved on. She listened like I was handing her a roadmap through hell. Can I ask you something? She said toward the end of our conversation. Of course. Do you ever regret leaving? Not because you miss him, but because of how hard it was after? Never. Not even once. The hard part was temporary. The freedom is permanent. She nodded, tears in her eyes. Thank you. I needed to hear that. You're going to be okay, I told her. It doesn't feel like it now, but you will. You'll build a life that's yours. You'll find someone who treats you like an equal. You'll look back on this and realize leaving was the best thing you ever did. How long did that take for you? About 2 years before I really believed it, but I started feeling better almost immediately. It's like the worst day after leaving was still better than the best day while I was there. She smiled through her tears. I can see that. Thank you, Sophia. Really. We exchanged numbers. I told her to reach out if she needed advice or just someone to talk to who understood. Over the next few months, we texted occasionally. She'd send updates on the divorce proceedings. I'd send encouragement and practical advice. The divorce finalized 6 months after we first met. She got to keep most of her retirement. They split their minimal joint assets 50-50, no alimony either way. Clean break. She texted me the day the papers were signed. It's over. I'm free. Congratulations. Now the real work begins. What do you mean? Building the life you actually want. No compromises. No settling. No putting someone else's dreams ahead of your own. It's harder than it sounds, but so worth it. She took that advice to heart. Took the job in Seattle, started over in a new city. Eventually met someone who treated her right. I saw the updates on social media occasionally. Her smiling in coffee shops, hiking in the mountains, building a life that was hers. I was happy for her. But I was also grateful I didn't have to be part of her journey beyond those first few months. I'd given her what I could, the roadmap I'd needed when I was in her position. And then I'd stepped back. Because that's the thing about boundaries. They're not just about keeping dysfunction out, they're also about knowing when you've done enough. Elena and I hosted Thanksgiving that year, our first holiday in our new house. Both our families came, my parents, my brother and his wife, my aunt and uncle, Elena's mom, her 2 sisters, her nephew. 18 people total, crammed into our dining room eating turkey and arguing good-naturedly about football and politics, and whether sweet potato casserole counts as a vegetable. It was chaotic and loud and perfect. Real family. The kind that shows up because they want to, not because they need something. The kind that celebrates your successes instead of resenting them. The kind that respects boundaries and doesn't treat love like a transaction. I thought about Marcus briefly. Wondered if he was having Thanksgiving with his family. Wondered if he'd learned anything from 2 failed marriages. Wondered if he ever would. Then Elena pulled me into the kitchen, kissed me, and said, "Happy Thanksgiving, mi amor, I'm grateful for you every day." And just like that, I stopped wondering about Marcus at all. The final piece of the story came almost 5 years after my divorce from Marcus was finalized. I was at a marketing conference in Chicago, presenting on a panel about women in leadership. After my presentation, a woman approached me during the networking reception. "Sophia Chen, I'm Patricia Reed." I stared at her. Marcus's mother looked older, much older. The years hadn't been kind. She was thinner, grayer, smaller somehow. Like life had compressed her into something less solid. "Patricia," I said carefully, "this is unexpected. I know. I saw your name in the conference program and thought I should come hear you speak. You were very impressive up there." "Thank you." She looked uncomfortable, fidgeted with her drink. Can we talk? Just for a few minutes? Every instinct told me to walk away. But curiosity won, sure. We found a quiet corner of the hotel bar. She ordered a glass of wine. I stuck with water. I owe you an apology, she said without preamble. For everything. The way I treated you when you were married to Marcus. The way I treated you after. The harassment, the complaints to your workplace, all of it. You didn't deserve any of that. No, I didn't. I was wrong about everything. I thought I was protecting my family, but I was really just enabling my son to be a terrible husband. I thought I was helping, but I was really just interfering. And I've lost almost everything because of it. I'm sorry to hear that. I lost my house. My marriage barely survived. Marcus won't speak to me anymore. Blames me for his divorces. Says I ruined his life by teaching him that family always comes first. My daughter hasn't talked to me in 2 years. The only person who still takes my calls is David, and he lives across the country. Patricia, why are you telling me this? Because you were right, about all of it. And I'm sorry I couldn't see it until I destroyed my whole family trying to hold them together. I sat there processing. Part of me felt vindicated. Most of me just felt sad. I appreciate the apology, I said finally. I do. But Patricia, I've moved on. I've built a good life. I'm not carrying anger toward you anymore, but I'm also not looking to reconnect. I hope you understand. I do. I just needed you to know that I see it now. What I did, what we all did. And I'm sorry. She finished her wine, stood up, started to leave, then turned back. One more thing. Marcus is engaged again, 3rd time, and I tried to talk to him about his patterns, about how he treats partners. He told me to stay out of his life. So I'm telling you instead, even though I have no right to ask if you ever get a chance to warn this one, please do. She's only 25. She has no idea what she's getting into. Patricia, I can't save people from their own choices. I couldn't save Jennifer. I couldn't have saved myself if I hadn't been ready. And I certainly can't save Marcus's newest fiancé. I know. I just had to try. She walked away. I sat there for a long time thinking about patterns, about how some people spend their whole lives repeating the same mistakes, pulling new people into their dysfunction, never learning, and how the only way to win that game is to refuse to play. I texted Elena, "You're not going to believe who I just ran into. Try me." Marcus's mother. She apologized for everything. Wow, how do you feel? Mostly just glad I'm not in that family anymore. Good answer. See you when you get home. Love you. Love you too. I flew home the next day, walked into our house with its comfortable furniture and framed photos of people who actually liked each other. Elena was in the kitchen making dinner. Our dog, a rescue mutt named Pepper, came running to greet me. This was my life now. Simple. Peaceful. Mine. The revenge people thought I was after when I left Marcus. It never came from watching his life fall apart. It didn't come from his family losing their house, or his mother's apology, or his string of failed marriages. It came from this. From building something so good that the dysfunction I left behind became irrelevant. From creating a life where boundaries were respected, where my career mattered, where partnership was real. The best revenge isn't hurting the people who hurt you, it's becoming so happy that their opinion of you becomes meaningless. They can call you selfish, they can call you cruel, they can call you heartless. But if you're sleeping well at night in a life you built on your own terms, what do their words matter? Marcus's mother was right about one thing, I was right about everything. But being right isn't the victory. The victory is in the living. In the waking up next to someone who values you, in the career you built without apology, in the home that's yours with no strings attached, in the peace that comes from knowing you chose yourself and survived. I think about that younger version of me sometimes, the one who sat in that Thai restaurant and heard her husband say her career was secondary, the one who felt her stomach drop but still tried to make it work. The one who thought maybe if she just sacrificed a little more, loved a little harder, gave a little more, things would get better. I want to go back and tell her it's okay to leave. That the hard part is temporary, but the freedom is forever. That she deserves better than being second place in her own life. that choosing herself isn't selfish, it's survival. But I can't go back. None of us can. We can only go forward. And maybe that's the real lesson here. Not that we should punish people who hurt us, but that we should love ourselves enough to walk away from anyone who treats us like we don't matter. This is Revenge Stories, a home for quiet courage and true endings. If you feel my words, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from. Help us build this community so we can bring more interesting and exciting stories for you from around the world. Your help is much appreciated. Your voice matters here. Your story matters too. Elena and I are planning our 5th anniversary trip next month. We're thinking Iceland. Northern lights, hot springs, adventure in a country neither of us has visited. No emergency calls will interrupt us. No family drama will cut it short. No one will make us feel guilty for choosing each other and our happiness. Just two people who built something real together as equals. And Marcus? I genuinely hope he figures it out someday. I hope his 3rd engagement teaches him what his first 2 marriages couldn't. I hope he learns that people aren't resources to be managed, but partners to be valued. I hope he breaks the patterns his mother taught him. But whether he does or doesn't, it's not my story anymore. It hasn't been for years. My story is this life, this home, this partnership, this career, this peace. And honestly, that's the best ending I could have asked for. Not revenge, just freedom, not bitterness, just boundaries, not winning, just living. Living well, on my own terms, with people who see my worth. That's not revenge. That's revolution. The quiet kind. The kind that happens when someone decides they matter, when they choose themselves, when they walk away from dysfunction and build something better. They called me selfish for leaving. I call it self-respect. They called me heartless for setting boundaries. I call it self-preservation. They called me cruel for refusing to fund their disasters. I call it wisdom. And I'm okay with that. Because at the end of the day, I'm the one who has to live with my choices. And I'm living with them just fine. Better than fine. Actually, I'm thriving. And that, more than anything else, is the revenge they never saw coming. Not their destruction. My reconstruction. Not their downfall, my rise. I didn't win by making them lose. I won by refusing to keep losing myself. That's the story. That's the truth. That's what happens when you finally choose yourself. You get to live. Really live. And nothing, absolutely nothing, is sweeter than that.